My name is Linda Hochstetler, and I'm a social worker and psychotherapist. This next video builds on the previous one I made on Erik Erikson's 8 stages of personal development over the course of a lifetime. However, in this video, we explore the needs of the child as the responsibility of the parent, and I give instruction on what is age appropriate for a child at the 8 stages of personal development. The first stage is the infant stage, where the infant is 0 to 18 months. And in this stage, the child needs to master trusting that the primary caregiver, usually the mother, will be there for their basic survival needs. They do this by crying for attention and communicating with the mother. The mother must figure out how to read the cry. Does the baby need food? Tired? Do they need a clean, dry diaper? Maybe a snuggle. The worry about spoiling the child is never appropriate for an infant. Food spoils when it is ignored and left alone. No child has ever been spoiled by having its basic needs met by a responsible and caring adult. One of the child's basic ways of reading the situation is through eye contact and attunement with the mother. We know that babies always want to see and be where we know that babies always want to be where they can see the mother at all times, or where they last left their mother. For this reason, babies like to move around, but are attached through an invisible thread to the mother who never goes far away. The first stage is extremely important for establishing a secure attachment to the mother. I'll talk about attachment theory in a different video in the future. For now, I'll simply tell you that recent research has shown that the attachment style of the child and mother is already set by the time the baby is 4 months old. Wow. So for now, it's important to know that for the first 2 years of life, the most important social lesson for the child is to learn to trust the mother to do for them what they want. This first stage is also important for the mother to set up opportunities for the infant to learn. This means giving them motivation to roll and crawl to reach a desired toy or food, or to lie under a tree looking up at the light dappling and feel the wind on their skin. For the first 6 months, babies do best lying on the floor, maybe on a blanket, but with room to wiggle and crawl around safely. Ideally, they spend more time outdoors than they do in a shopping mall. Some babies love car rides when they feel the motion of the moving vehicle and have people to watch in the car or things to look at out the window. Toys need not be expensive and are best explored with the mouth or hands, so natural items work great. Food can become a toy if pureed and frozen so that the baby can pick it up and they can feed themselves. By the age of 2, the toddler enters the second stage of life, and they are beginning to want things that the mother or other adult doesn't allow them to have. This could be a phone, a knife, or certain foods, and the toddler realizes that they are separate from the mother. This second stage is when the toddler starts to assert themselves and learns to say no. For some parents, they can't wait for the child to outgrow this stage, but this is an important developmental stage and the beginning of ego formation, so the parent's reaction can be especially formative. Toddlers think symbolically and love to name objects around them. Being asked to name people and objects brings them great joy. They show such excitement at knowing things. Toddlers often appear egocentric and act as if they can do anything they want. They try to cross streets at will and don't like being told to hold a parent's hand to cross when it's safe. However, it's important to continue the trust building in both directions to ask children to check in before doing something that is not safe. Toddlers use language in very basic ways, and you can notice this by their grammatical sentences. They use simple subjects and objects and speak in the present tense or maybe simple past tense. They ask for things and respond to basic requests. They have limited understanding of time and don't truly understand the difference between 5 minutes or a short time. Parents sometimes use this to their advantage when asking for just 5 more minutes. By the time the toddler turns 3, they enter the third stage and they are ready for more social settings. A parent can watch a child and want to redirect more of the games and their social interactions with playmates. The child will be ready for preschool and socializing activities by now. They may still be figuring out their place with others and want as much authority as older children and parents. They have limited control of their growing bodies and may be exuberant with speaking and need to be reminded to use your indoor voice. They may also be easily excitable and act overly aggressively towards smaller things like siblings, pets, or even toys. All of this is an effort to develop their interpersonal skills, and gentle but firm guidance can be extremely useful to them from well-intentioned bigger children or adults. Children in this stage need parents to set boundaries with them, but to do so in ways that the child still feels the unconditional love of the parent, while understanding that their most recent specific behavior was not appropriate and will not be tolerated. One of the best tips for parents is to learn to speak loudly and firmly and clearly to the child about their inappropriate behavior, but then, in the next moment, demonstrate a normal, friendly voice on a different topic. All this directly in front of the child, with the parent appearing to be loving and in control of themselves. When done well, it reassures the child that they are still lovable, but also lets them know that some of their behaviors are not acceptable. Children need to be given opportunities to try different ways of acting without feeling guilty for their behaviors. Their range of options needs to be kept small to increase the likelihood that they will make good choices. Too many options increases their chance of eliciting bad choices or increasing overwhelm by wanting more than one choice. When children enter full-day academic school around age 6, they enter stage 4, and their maturity level leaps. Some children attend full-day kindergarten, but most of the day is play-based. Full-day school, on the other hand, requires a greater concentration level, and the children's readiness to learn becomes more apparent. The competition between children academically for teacher approval and attention can be high, leading to some children thriving while others struggling with low self-esteem. This range expands as children grow up from lower years to upper years of public school. School is both a place to learn and to interact with peers. Most interactions are done with children within a 1-year age range, and comparisons are easily noted. The pressure to outperform others can be intense if parents focus on expecting their children to be the best at everything, and children often develop anxiety about meeting parents' or teachers' expectations. In situations where a child excels in one thing, like a sport, say hockey or dance, or music, like piano, and spends much of their free time with this activity in high-level competitions, it is really helpful for that child to also engage in some activity that they aren't the best at. This could be a house league level sport, maybe art classes, with a reminder that there are activities they can do strictly for fun. And this teaches the child balance and reminds them that they don't always have to be good at something to enjoy it. It is important for school-age children to understand that the most important thing for them to do is to attend school, do assignments, and get along with others. Whether a child wants to go to school or not is not a decision the child gets to make. The default is that the child must do what is age appropriate for them, and their priority is to attend school. It is common for children to fake illness to stay home from school. In these cases, it is the responsibility of the parent to keep the child home, but to establish sick day protocols, which are often about staying inside, no screens, and no fun. Staying home from school is not supposed to look appealing or fun. If it looks too fun, The child may choose to do it even when they aren't sick. If a child has legitimate reasons for staying home even when they feel well, these rules might need to be adapted and negotiated, of course. These school-age years are when most families find they can best do the things they thought they would do with their families. It is easier when children are no longer babies and toileting and sleeping are not so difficult, and before they become teens and have other interests. Most children will be able to remember the trips or big events that families do in these years. When school-age children struggle, they still need their parents to be involved. In the younger years, the parent may need to do most of the problem solving with teachers in school when children get bullied or have friend difficulties. But as they grow up, children are able to attend and handle more and more of their own problems. They may want to share feelings and discuss options with parents, but they can take on the responsibility to speak up to the necessary people with support and encouragement. If a parent sees a sudden change in the child's behavior, it is important to get involved and ask questions. Sudden changes often reflect some form of trauma, mental health difficulty, or interpersonal conflict. Believe that a child does not willingly want to misbehave, and always be curious about what the change is related to. Conversations at bedtime are often the best time to inquire about the day and make plans for the next day. In my family, we called this the tuck-in time. For us, it started in infancy and went up into the teen years. With young children, it may be mostly a time for book reading and snuggles. With school-age children, it can be a time for sharing the events of the day and hearing about any hurt feelings that came up that day. For teens, it can be more of a time to share YouTube or TikTok videos and discuss ideas they are learning about at school or with friends. At any age, tuck-in time is an opportunity to connect with children in an age-appropriate way. I will continue with the following 4 stages in another video. Stay tuned.